If you got it on your mind, call it anyone.
All right. We're back. We are back. The Jay Talks Today's Relationship Show.
Talks Today's Relationship Show.
All
Hey,
right.
Jay.
All right, on the first day of the Firecracker Month. All right, that's not the first day, the first show of the Firecracker Month.
Fireworks.
Fireworks is right around the corner. All right, they already been popping them.
Yes.
All right, it ain't no surprise. All right, so that just brings it to this point. That we're going to be talking about today.
What we going to be talking about today, Jay?
All right, Miss Debbie.
Fireworks.
Miss Debbie. Like they be saying in the hood. All right. Today's topic is, why are we so surprised when we've seen the signs? I like
why?
Why are we so surprised when we done seen the sign? When we've seen the sign. Now, I'm going to say it a couple of different ways. All right, I just said the kind of the hood. Now, here's the Ebonic way. Why are you so surprised? Ain't you seen it? Alright.
Okay.
Alright. Now I'm going to put a little religious twist on it, okay? You know. Alright. Let me get. Yeah! Why are you so surprised when you seen the signs? Yeah!
Yes, Jay. Why are you so surprised
when you seen the sign?
And you know what? And let me just start off by saying this. And it is that is so true. So surprised. I mean, like, it's shocking. You know, like, I can't believe this. Really?
Right.
When you saw the signs all along. Okay, so the signs were there. The red light was flashing so huge. Okay, but we turned a blind eye to the signs, Jay. Why do we do that?
Why do we do that? All right, before I answer, I'm gonna put this in for folk that are listening to the show. Now, if you have some comments that you want to join in on this show, this live show, the call-in number is 931-220-7063, and we will put you right on in. We want to hear what you have to say.
Yes, we want to hear what you have to say. Yes.
All right.
Why do we turn the blind eye?
We know you ain't going to tell why you know. But anyway, we want to hear what you...
I'll tell it. I'll tell it. It's in the healing, Jay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about the caller.
Okay. They might would.
They might.
They might would.
You never know.
That's right. I believe it. I believe it can happen.
Yeah. I guess I've seen them signs before too. I won't be surprised.
Yes.
All right. So as you were, I guess, putting that in my corner.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Yes. Why, Jay?
Well, I'm gonna say the why towards the end. I'm gonna say that. Why? You know how they do the movies. You know, they like to set up the suspense. They get the, they take you through all these scenes and everything. Then at the end, you finally, you get the finale. So,
okay.
All right. So, let's go through these different scenes.
Okay.
All right. Just like a movie.
Okay.
All right. Let's do replay. All right. Like they say, replay.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. All right. You have seen this person. It almost sounds like my ignorant jokes in a way, but you have seen this person, and they have been. I guess I'm gonna say talk to the ladies. All right, it could be reversed, guys. Seeing a woman, but right now I'm gonna say the woman seeing a guy.
Okay.
Since we tend to hear so much about, so quote, the guy is such a dog.
Right. Okay.
That's what we tend to hear.
Okay.
In society. Okay. But you ladies have seen this guy, and you've seen them with someone else. And you've seen them not be a good candidate, for a mate.
Okay.
All right. I'm kind of being a little proper, not be a good candidate. In other words, they don't have a good character. They didn't treat that woman right.
Okay.
And all that.
Right.
But you go and you hook up with them after all that you've seen. Then when they start doing that to you, you get all bent out of shape and upset, like it ain't supposed to happen to you. That happened to her, but it ain't supposed to happen to you. Okay.
All right.
All right.
I got that, Joe.
There's that one.
So that's the sign.
That's one of them.
Okay.
That's like when somebody on the outside look and be like, did you see them signs? they put their hand on the hip and they be shaking the hip. Lord have mercy, they got a big one. But if they be shaking their hips. Didn't you see them signs? Well, I thought maybe I could change them, But,
yeah.
But didn't you see them signs?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. But you want to act all surprised when it happened to you. Okay. All right.
Okay, Jay. Sign number 2.
There goes another sign. All right. All right. This person, I when I was in elementary school, a lot of kids have bullies. Okay. And bullies do get their reputation in school.
Yes.
I mean, even if you ain't never met them, you done heard about them. Okay. You done heard of Roscoe. You don't mess with Roscoe. All right.
Okay.
All right. And which is a sign. Okay. Everybody's saying the same thing. You ain't gotta see it happen.
Right.
But you hear the temper that Roscoe has.
Yes.
And all that. And you got the nerve to try to say something that you pretty much will almost know will aggravate somebody. You're gonna even take the chance. I mean, you'd be like, well, maybe they just won't get mad at me, if I say it. It's kind of like that, And you go and you throw something up in front of them, and now they all on top of you, and you gonna be all surprised
when you get beat up.
Oh, right.
Right. Because the signs is there.
The sign is there.
But Jay, I mean, we're talking about, making light of it, but it's of course a serious matter that a lot of us deal with or have dealt with in the past. I would like to think that for the most part, that will come out of growing. You maturing more, knowing who you are, getting to know who you are, or just maturing, period.
Right.
I would like to think, now we do still make, of course, different mistakes, but as far as relationships are concerned, as opposed to a man and a woman, as you get older, it should be, where you've learned enough not to make those mistakes so much or as much as you did when you were a lot younger. Okay, you start paying attention to the signs. I mean, because at a certain age, you should not definitely dismiss it. The sign is there. It's there for a reason, to inform you that, hey, you might want to look into this thing a little bit more. So why, as women, we do have a tendency, not all, ladies, hear me when I say not all, do have a tendency of looking past those signs for several reasons. There's several reasons that we do it. One, because we feel it won't happen to us, like you made mention of, or two, we think that we possibly, can gear him into being a better man. Okay, all right. Jay, I know you're gonna come with it in a few minutes, but let me just say, not to the point of trying to. Go ahead. That's to the point. Okay. To the point of this has been. It's been said. It's been in the back. Oh, I can shape him. I can mold him into what I want him to be. You know. And it's a mistake to think that, ladies, that you can shape him or mold him into what you're going to. Put it this way, it's going to be more heartache and headache for you than anything. So the signs are there, whether we want to see them and accept them or walk away from it when the signs are there. Ladies, the signs are there. And we're not just talking about on the bad side. I mean, even... for the most part, on the good side as well. If you see he has a track record of being nice, kind, and you've seen this, that can work to your advantage as well. Just like the signs of a guy that's not, what you want to call kind, compassionate, got a lot of women on the outside or whatever. That's a sign as well.
You just made a good point because. This is what I also, I'm sure a lot of guys have heard this comment. They have been rejected or turned down by some women, and they be like saying, you too nice. Like too nice.
Too nice, yeah. Yeah.
What? Isn't that what you want? Or you rather have somebody banging your head against the wall, banging on your head? Is this nice enough?
Right.
I mean, is this nice?
But Jay, I mean, in all honesty,
nice,
you just too nice.
You nice.
I mean, I personally, actually, I have a girlfriend back home. This was many years ago, and that was her. That was her mindset. Because we used to talk about, the kind of guys that we would like in our life, that type of thing. And hers was always, I don't want anybody that's nice. That's too nice. Because I'm not going to do anything but run over him. Those were her words. Yeah. Okay? I'm not going to do anything but run over him. She was going to run over him. And so, needless to say, she got the kind of guy that she was asking for. Okay? She ran into this guy, and when I tell you, and this is no joke, it's not a laughing matter, I don't condone violence against women in any kind of way, but when I tell you he did possibly everything that he can do to her, he did. Okay? But guess what? She stayed with this guy for years. Because she loved him. Oh. Okay. Because she loved him. But she was in and out the hospital. Bruises. That type of thing. Just body damage.
Nice guy.
Yeah. But then she realized. It took some years. But then she realized that guess what? That really wasn't the guy that she wanted. Okay. So the signs was there. Okay, before she married him. Now she married him. They didn't get married until several years after they had met. But he was already into, him putting his hands on her, that type of thing from day one, pretty much. But so she ended up marrying him. But it took for him to go to jail, and she divorced him while he was in jail. That's just how bad it had gotten. So the signs were there, but again, you have to be careful what you ask for too. You got to be careful what you ask for.
And because in today's times we're seeing a lot of couple relationships moving, even going into marriages. and for whatever reason, I would say many of them are going into it for the wrong reasons. Wrong reasons. Predicating that it is the right reason, but when they later can't come to say to themselves, "No, I got married, for all the wrong reasons." Of course, there was a play that was named that, and the sad thing about it, not surprising, just sad thing about it, because a lot of things that happen in life can be sad. It don't have to be surprising. It just can be sad.
Yeah.
And that with many of those folk, it was later in the relationship, way later, before they really began to get in touch with their own self identity, to to actually tell themselves the truth of what they see, the signs, all that, what they see. That's not even just applied to couple relationships. That's applied to a whole lot of things. I mean, quite often, even in church, we hear folk that go into church, and part of that is part of false expectations.
Okay.
Like you were saying, they go into a relationship, the false expectation that they can make the man, change the man, recreate the man.
Yes.
And brothers, it's the same way. Even though you might think you got control of the woman, that don't mean you making them. They might be fearful of you. That don't mean that you have made them. They're just reacting out of fear. All right, it don't mean you recreated them, reprogrammed them, or anything like that. It just means that they're just reacting out of fear. They're not reprogrammed. Because one day you might wake up and find that out.
Oh yeah.
All right? They reprogrammed. All right.
Yes.
And I hope you don't have to wake up to a hot bowl of grits.
Yes.
All right.
That's right. That's it.
Yeah. So, what was that Tyler Perry movie? The Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Whereas it made it look like the man was he thought he had control of the woman. No, she was just acting out of fear. And one day, that fear went out. That fear went out.
Yeah.
Yes. So, it will come a day. All right.
Will.
There will come a day.
It will.
All right.
It will.
Okay.
So when you talk about, like we're talking about the Tyler Perry movie, she was in a position that most women, not all women, find themselves in when they're in a relationship where they have, just given their all to the relationship, to the marriage, to the man, and just start accepting whatever, he wants, for the sake of love. And she really, I'm sure at some point, and still at that time in the marriage when she was going through, still loved him, but he didn't love her. And because he didn't, he was just, doing everything that he could possibly do, and she was accepting it.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that was interesting enough. Do you notice? Okay, the guy in that play or in the movie, more so in the play, I think, than the movie, because both of them were good. Pretty much the same context. The guy was he was physically abusing her, emotionally abusing her, and mentally abusing her. And the thing that came as a surprise to her was that he had another woman. And that was surprising. I was like, really? If he gonna dog you out, disrespect you, think you not worth nothing, all that, you mean to tell me that would be a surprise? That he would, and she was like really surprised.
Yes. Yes, she
you
was.
know, that there was
Wow.
another woman,
Mm-hmm.
even after all that. And it's like, you know, really?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, you know, there are really a lot of signs, and you know, I started going to the church thing. You know, like we have some people that get surprised when it's false expectation, like I said. When we see the signs, you know, some people go to church, a church building, and they, you hear them start talking, well, you know, I'm gonna leave that church and go somewhere else, and because there's a whole bunch of crazy folk in there. It's a whole, you know, it's liars, gossipers, you know, crazy folk, and all, you know, it's just going on in there. Scandalous folk. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, you know, what are the signs? Even the Bible and the Word says that is what. I mean, look at Christ's disciples. All of them. That was what his handpicked folk. And you know, you had one that was stealing out of the bag, a thief, out of the money bag. You had one that just didn't believe in nothing, down top.
Right.
We had meddling folk, you know, always meddling other folk business. I mean, if Christ Church had a bunch of I would say dysfunctional folk, all right.
Yes. Yes, dysfunctional.
His disciples, that is. And it was handpicked.
Yes.
Okay, handpicked, all right. What else would you expect?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
What else would you expect?
Yes.
And the thing of it is, you wouldn't know where the perfect church was anyway, because you know, as we keep explaining, the church like a hospital. All those that's in the hospital are sick.
Yes.
Reason you went to the hospital because you were sick and need a dose or something. All right. So you end up with all the other sick folk. All right.
Yes.
So just get a comfortable seat. You know, like they say, take a number. And you know.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Get your medicine. All right.
Yeah.
And keep working at getting healed. All right. So, but folks want to get all bent out of shape when they've seen the signs. All right. Okay. And they want to act so surprised if somebody's lie on them. That's in the church. Okay. Because that was their sickness. They don't. You know, and I mean, it just goes on and on. The surprise shooting in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know, we hear. I love Maddie. I guess I keep patronizing Tyler Perry, but he just makes so many great points.
He does
in his real life, rational and realistic points.
Yes.
In his plays and movies. I appreciate him so much. All right. So I'm just giving him his accolades and his kudos. So, but in one of his plays, he has several of his plays. He has this one character named Maddie, and Maddie tends to make this statement quite often. She makes this statement, you know, when it says somebody done died, she's like, Lord, people just die like they ain't never died before. I'm like, I found that to be so comical. I know it's part of the comedy, but I have heard people say that in real life. people just dying like they ain't never died before. And I know that's where they got it from.
Okay.
Because people do say that in real life. So,
Wow.
These plays and movies
Wow.
are based upon a lot of realistical things.
Like they ain't never died before.
Yeah, right.
Like it's another way
right.
you can die.
Well, of course they ain't died like they never, because they never did die until they died. People just died like they ain't never died before. They ain't dead until they die.
Yes. That's right, Jay.
Yeah.
I mean, so when you talk about seeing the signs, and even though we're talking about right now the relationship between a man and a woman, I mean, and you have told us on several shows, all the shows, that any relationship that you have with another person is a relationship. So and that could stretch out to family. We all have a family. We all have them family members who come around. You don't really want them around for whatever reason. And the signs are there. Because they done stole from Uncle Jesse's house last Christmas when you had them over at the house, and then you have them over this Christmas. Then you wonder why all of your fine china and your silverware is gone, and now you really can't believe. I can't believe. He said, well, why? Because he stole from Uncle Jesse last year. So the signs is there. I mean, but that can branch out into a whole lot of, different avenues when you talk about seeing the signs. So I guess the most important thing that we have to look at now is that, do we adhere to the signs, take heed to what we seeing or what we hearing, and do something about it at that point.
Right.
Right. Do something about it.
Another thing, we that's true. Do we really tell ourselves the truth about the things we see? And another thing that I want to bring up is, we hear so much, and this is going to be the message, I guess, to the religious establishment. We hear so much, not just the religion, but really even the community. We hear so much about we need to set up something to work on our kids, to especially more so toward the church and religious establishment, but to work on our kids, to bring them out of their mindset, of the gang and all the sex promiscuity, and the thing that I say now, we might talk about, the gang and all that, the violence, but when it comes to the sex, here's what I hear quite a lot. Unless that youth, I don't want to say child, unless that youth is 12 or over, or really about 14 and over, then the church and the religious organizations tend to want to say, and even parents tend to want to say this about their youth, from all the way down. I mean, to when they can talk and understand. Well, they too young to be talking about certain things. Listen, that's why a lot of folk are so surprised when you're finding out this 10-year-old done got pregnant.
Yes,
all right.
That's right.
Because the signs is that while everybody's covering up, and I say overprotecting. You think you're protecting because you're saying, well, they're too young. We don't want to bring sex conversation to them because they're too young. If you don't bring it, then the school and the public and society is going to bring it. If you don't attend to it, then school and public school and society will attend to it. Because what you don't deal with, the reverse, the opposite, will deal with. And they're going to definitely teach them the hard and rough and probably more, and because
graphic
the
way, graphic
way, then you could. And the best thing is to start saying, because you see the signs that it's possible. The only way you can strategize against something is to see it, call it what it is, and then move forward as though it's most likely possible that it would be. Yeah. So if it's most likely possible, then deal with it. Approach those kids. I'm not saying you're approaching them as if you're trying to convict them or you know your 10-year-old is acting sick, having sex, but no, you approach it as though it's possible that your child can have, and you approach it and you're like, you know, well, baby, you know, I know you're 10 years old, but I want to sit down and talk with you. I don't know if you out there because I ain't with you 24/7. You know, don't forget. Grown ups, you were young too. Yes. All right. Yes. All right. We had a few goody, you know, goody kids just as well as 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. Still was a few goody. But then there was a whole lot of us grown folk when we were young. Used to. You know, soon we get our mama daddy sight. That's right. Boy, it was, and I like that movie, The Preacher's Daughter. You know, you saw soon. You know, they were supposed to be going to the store or something like that, and she was all dressed up all the way down in her pants or something, or dressed all the way down past her knee, and her daddy was a pastor of the church. A friend came, they were both all dressed nice and neat, you know, to the pastor's approval. Soon as they got in the car and got around the block, they changed clothes, got hot to trot, and went to the club. All right? Come back home, all dressed back down. Okay? Now, parents, I'm not saying that your child is like that. All right? But come on, let's keep it real. We are a realistic show. Some us as parents, when we were young, had some ways that our parents may not even still know about. Okay, so so the reality is, you've seen the sign based upon what maybe you might have done. Absolutely. And then if it happens, just so happens, something happens that's outside of your sight and outside of where you didn't happen in your environment or your presence, is really not a surprise because you know it's possible. It was possible when you were young. Absolutely. So why isn't it possible now? All the more so. Right. Even more so. Yes. So, you know, going to that you know, that daughter and the son, you know, whatever. You know, I know, you know, you're 10 years old, but I do know this much. Hey, I know it's possible. I ain't with you 24/7. Yeah. But but I'm gonna tell you this much. Let me tell you about and the only thing I'm gonna tell you one thing. My dad is a retired pastor, but when he was pastor, the parsonage, that's the church owned home. The church owned, you know, they own that home. That's where, you know, a lot of churches have own a home, a house that they put the pastor up. Yes. Okay, the church parsonage, that's for those that didn't know, was right across the parking lot. You know, the parking lot in the street, in the house, okay? And one time, the first one was right next door to the church. All it was the driveway right between them, okay? But it wasn't then, because I was way too little then. But when it was across the parking lot, across the street from the church, which you could still see, one of the things I appreciate my dad for, and I used to play in a club band, okay? And church members will always get on, you know, Pastor, we hear some boogaloo music, some get down music coming from your house, and that's the church owned parsonage, right? Right? And the one thing he would tell them was that I've had a talk with my son. You know, and he did. You know, I've had a talk with my son, but I can't make him do anything.
Mm-hmm.
What if I take all that on when he gets around his friends? And he was very realistic about it. He was like, when he gets around his friends, what do I really know what he's doing?
Yeah.
What do he really? He's like, I'd rather that he have his band, if that's what he's gonna do, be in my eyesight, where I could watch and see what he's doing, rather than for him to be out there sneaking around trying to do things. And and in my older years, I see that was really a wise move, because then he could say they're just over there playing. They're not, they ain't got no alcohol, no drinks, no drugs, no nothing. Because I can see what they're doing. And but in the other thing, he taught us about choices and all that.
Right.
So, and which is really true. You don't really never know the path of another person. And sometimes you be trying to make them be a certain way. And many times a person does the opposite of what you are trying to force them to do, because they rebel against it, because they have this little thing in their mind, and we all have it. You can't make me do nothing. You can't make me do nothing. My mama and daddy ain't trying to make me do nothing. You ain't my mama and daddy. I mean, we do it many times.
Turn the blinds eye. Jay, I was thinking about as you were talking about children not being in your sight at all times, 24 hours a day, and as parents, there's no way possible that you can your children can be in your sight all the time like that. And I was actually reminded of, if you remember the TV show that used to come on, Good Times.
Yeah.
And it was actually a scene where, Walona had adopted Penny, and Penny was her daughter, which was played by Janet Jackson. And she had a classmate that had gotten pregnant, and they were somewhere around that age 10, 13, and she had gotten pregnant. And so the Florida was talking to her about it and everything, and she kept saying that the little girl, had stomach mumps, and that was what Walona was saying, was that she had stomach mumps. When Penny and Florida were talking, and Penny told her, well, it looked like she pregnant to me, and so Florida asked, oh, you know what, being pregnant is, you know what it's about, and so she was like, yeah. So Florida and Walona, of course, were best friends, and Florida was trying to talk to Walona about it and say, well, look, she's at that age. She's understanding. She understands a lot more than what you think she does. You need to go ahead and sit her down and talk to her. And Walona was just insisting against it. No, she's too young. I'm not going to do that. And they ended up falling out. I think that was one of the first times and the only time they ever just fell out and didn't talk to each other no more. And fell out, didn't talk to each other. Walona stopped Penny from coming over and everything. And it was just a bad time because their friendship had been so close. Well, anyway, one of Penny's classmates, I'm sure y'all can recall this episode, one of Penny's classmates, who happened to be a boy in her class, had some gym shorts that belonged to his sister, and she wanted them back, so he wanted to, go get the shorts back, and he was trying to rape her. He got to the point to where he was trying to rape her, and Penny broke her loose from him and everything, and so Florida was like, look, you have to tell her, because she understands. You have to let her know, and Walona, it wasn't until that happened that Walona actually came to herself and realized that it could possibly be, because of course what had happened with Penny and this young guy at that time. So so the signs are there, especially now in this day and age. I'm not saying it didn't happen when we were growing up, Jay, like you said, because it did, but especially now with young girls being more developed and everything. Now you have to be careful of that thing. You cannot deny the signs. If they're sneaking out the house with one thing on and you catching them and you seeing them and somebody else is seeing, that's a sign. You need to handle that as soon as possible. At least get to the bottom of it and see, what can I do now that I've seen this. Don't deny the signs. Don't deny the signs. Whatever that sign is, don't deny it. But we're talking about it as it opposes to, to relationship, because for the most part, we do make that mistake and just denying the sign, or, closing our eyes, or that ain't what I saw, or it'll be better, it'll be all right. I ain't gonna worry about it. That's, that'll pass. And we make the mistake in doing that.
Yeah, and that's, I guess, another Tyler Perry show. I think you mentioned it one time before. Why Did I Get Married? That the play in the movie. Whereas, her best friend, this lady's best friend, kept telling her, she needs to be watching her husband because he's spending way too much time with her girlfriend. Supposed to be her best friend. That was supposed to be her best friend, all right? And spending way too much time, especially alone with her. And she was like, nah, that's my best friend. I trust her with everything, and that's my husband. And now he's already treated, like I was saying at the beginning of the show,
bad.
Was already treating her bad. Already treating her bad. But and came to find out, her other good friend, the good one, not the bad best friend, that she was trying to protect, but the good one, who was really worthy of being called, a good friend, should have been the best friend, but she just finally busted out, your husband is having an affair with her. You may well go on, told the other girl, the bad girl, told her, you may well go on and tell her the truth. And so it finally came out, and now the wife, just got was like all in shock in the movie. Was all in shock and surprise.
Yeah.
You mean like really? You didn't see them side? Really? All right. But you did. You said something else. Not all seeing the signs got to be bad signs. There are good signs. Yes. And sometimes there are good signs, seeing good signs. But then even seeing good signs, we can still have a shocking or surprising attitude. Here's one. Well, I don't mind. I guess I should. Speak well. He deserves it. My father, who had labored for many years as in civil rights and political venues, working in community. I already shared. He was very strong and effective pastor. Labored for over 40 years, really like about almost 60 years in all these venues, and very popular in media. Now, and I'm just using him as an example. There are many other people, all right? He's not the only one. Just I can say it about him because, hey, he's my dad.
That's right.
But has has presented itself, and then when he gets presented by the NAACP National Convention, this is the national convention of the NAACP, not a little local area. The national of all the states of the United States. This is he was awarded, and during that time he was awarded. President Obama and President Clinton spoke at this convention. Okay. That's how big this particular convention was. Okay, to have both of the presidents there, president and former president there speaking,
Mm-hmm.
All right, and they had some other big name representatives that was there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, during this convention, he was awarded the Keepers of the Flame Award.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, this is the convention of the United States, of the whole organization. There are thousands upon thousands of men who have people, not just men, women too.
Yeah,
people who have labored, who were also worthy of the award, and however, he received it, and there were a lot of people surprised. You mean he got the award? You know, and well, you've seen the signs. It was possible. It was possible, just as possible as anybody, as any of the other people that labored. You know. So why do we be acting so surprised when folk when folk do things or whatever, shooting in the street. That's another one, These terrorist situations, okay? We know what terrorists do. We know how they plot. We know that their aim is to hurt and kill people. As many people as possible.
Yes.
We know that they are active. Okay? Now watch this. And it just doesn't have to be terrorists, but I'm going to use the terrorists. We know that it's always possible because they have these human bombs now that we know that's part of terrorism. And it's all, but when it happens, we're like, oh man, you see what the terrorists did? Man, did you see what they did? Yeah. People call me nonchalant so much because I'm not surprised. I'm never not surprised by stuff, because I know it's possible. I'm just not surprised. It's not like some big hit news, I know that sounds a little shrewd, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about, Jay, I mean, we're talking about, the signs, seeing the signs, recognizing the signs, whether we have a choice at that point is that when we see the signs to address it, then we have a tendency sometimes of sweeping it up under the rug, thinking that it's gonna go away. It's gonna go away. If I don't look at it, if I don't see it, then I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to address it or anything like that. But that's when you do yourself the most harm, when you sweep it up under the rug and act like it doesn't exist. At least if you don't do anything, but to thy own self be true. That's the same. But if even if you're true with your own self and say, well, yes, this is what it is. At least if you honest with yourself and be true to yourself, then that's your first step in you dealing with and taking the steps that you need to take in order to rectify the situation. Okay, but don't just not deny it and act like it's not there. I think I talked about this one other time, Jay, on the show, when I found out that my son was first diagnosed, with autism at a young age. When I got the first diagnosis, it wasn't that I was accepting it or anything like that, but the thought was in my mind that this is a possibility, that this is what it is. So I got a second opinion and I got a third opinion, and then once it came, so now what do? I addressed the situation. Okay, now their thing was at that time, because they didn't know a whole lot about autism, was that they wanted to pretty much study, was it something that was, developed in the genes, or was it something that happened afterwards? They wanted to study it. And, and their thing was that, well, he'll never learn how to do this. He'll never learn how to. He gave me a list of things that he would never learn how to do. But because I wasn't willing to accept it, even though that what they were saying was a sign as to the condition, But because I wasn't willing to accept it as that, I worked with him, okay, to get him to a level that they said would never be possible for him. You know, so even though the sign was there, I didn't negate it. I didn't, sweep it up under the rug and act like everything was okay. You have to address it and then take steps to deal with that thing. It doesn't mean you're turning a blind eye to it. If you see it, you take the steps that you have to take in order to rectify that thing. So now we're talking about, in a relationship. If you got a man, if your man, and I'm saying this, because it's a women, for a women's standpoint. If your man, your friend, your fiance, husband, if you knew that he had a drinking problem when y'all first started talking, and you knew that drinking was going to be a deal breaker for you, then maybe you should have thought about that thing a little bit more, because now what? He's a full-blown drinker. He's an alcoholic. It don't have to be to that level, but he's a full-blown drinker now, and now it's something you can't deal with because you didn't address it. In the beginning. You turned a blind eye to it because he said he was just an occasional drinker, or he drank to be sociable. But I'm using that as an example, but you can use that in any aspect of your life, whatever you're dealing with. If the signs are there and you see them, don't sweep it up under the rug.
Right. Yep. You ain't got to sweep it under the rug, because when you do that, you really open up to yourself the possibility of tragedies that could take place, and it really can produce a very tragic, very tragic situation in your life.
Yes, that's true.
So it's important. It's important to really be honest with yourself on a whole big level. I mean, on multiple levels. Yeah. Be honest with yourself with the things that you say.
Yes, that's true.
I know if you listen carefully to the show today, we weren't talking about everything being bad. There are some good points. All right. But one thing that's very, very true is that when you see something, call it that. I mean, if somebody done called you the B word, call it that. Don't turn around. Oh, I was just playing. Yeah. You don't be playing with the B word. All right, that's called disrespect. A person who respects you wouldn't even approach the word in the first place. All right, so call it what it is. It's disrespect. So just say that person disrespected me, no matter what they were playing or not. Because a person who really respects you would not even address using that word. Yes. All right?
Yeah. All right. And since we're talking about that, Jay, and people try to make light of that word. Oh, we know what the B word is. It's a female dog. But you already know when you say it out your mouth, be it, and I'm saying mostly for men, because men got, they flip it out. In a minute.
It's so bad now. Women use it about as equally as men nowadays.
You think so? Okay?
Yeah. They use about as equally as men do.
Yeah. But but the point I'm making on that is that word is not anything that's meant to lift up. When somebody say it out their mouth, you already know what it's meant to do when it come out. It's not to come to lift you up. It's to come to tear you down, And so in saying that, I have to agree with the statement you just made about, if you're, your man friend, your husband, I ain't going to say, I don't know, husbands or some husbands have, you and whoever you in a relationship with, let that word fly out of his mouth toward you, then yes, that's a sign you need to rethink the relationship that you in with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, because if he's saying it, and it's only a matter of time before everything else is gonna follow behind that. And is that something that you really want to deal with? I mean, it's a show that come on every day. I don't know if I'm sure it still come on. I used to love to watch it though, but it snapped. You know, women being in relationships, in marriages where they've been abused, you know, over the years, and they've stayed there and stayed there and stayed there, and then got to the point to where they couldn't deal with it no more, and they snapped and end up taking his life. You know, I'm not saying that's not a good thing. I'm saying, but that kind of, when you made the point earlier about how it can be dangerous, when you refuse to see the signs, or when you ignore those signs and don't deal with it, whether it's getting out of the relationship or whatever you feel you need to do, that's a sign. It's flashing there for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it's flashing for a reason, and you know, a lot of the church folk. I'm a kind of. I guess I hit church folk a lot. I was asked, why you always picking with church folk? Well, I'm gonna tell y'all why I'm always addressing church folk. I didn't say Christians. I got a thing about giving out labels. Okay, only God knows if you're a Christian. All right, I do. If you going in that church building, I know you church folk. Okay, so how you come out, that's up to you. Okay, but the reason I address church folk is because unlike people who don't go to church or don't read the Bible, and we're not a religious show. We deal with facts and proven statistics and realities. Okay, so what's considered the vast high percentage of, and it's got to be a very high percentage, like 85, 90, 99. Okay, so we ain't talking about no 50-50 percentage. So but because they are the ones who tend to go in and get certain teachings or given instructions to understand some things better than those, not saying those that don't go to church don't have a good mind, because we all been given a conscience, of being able to reason. You don't have to go to church and read the Bible to be able to reason and have a conscience and use your conscience, because that by itself it tells you, what I see is, is what I see. Okay, all right. You pretty much know what's bad and what's good. All right. Okay. So, but this I wanna leave as a statement to all people, and it comes out of the Bible, and because I see church people a lot of times praying. We do a lot of prayers. Not saying you're not supposed to pray, but we pray the wrong way. We pray with a false expectation. We misapply hope in the wrong way. We pray with as if it's a command or order for God to do something, rather than to put it in His hand and let Him decide. In other words, and I've even heard people straight out say, God changed this person. Not God find a way to change this person. But I hope that you can put up something in his path. All right, because see, watch this illustration, this example. Paul, God didn't change Paul. He put something in his path. That bright light, anybody been to church, that bright light in that voice, that's all there was. And Paul recognized himself, and Paul made the change. But God didn't make him change. But God can put things in your path that ought to change you, that could. But Proverbs also says that even unto death a person may not change. Okay? So with all that going together, because he gives us free will.
Free will. Yes.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And if God makes us do anything, then that means he's a lie and he's mocked himself. Okay? And God is not a lie, and he doesn't mock himself. So he's not going to make us do anything. Those are the factors that you can use, everybody, to go on to understand that God doesn't make anybody do anything. Now he'll put things in your path that should change you, and ought to make some corrections in you. But that doesn't mean that person will change. Okay? That's a free and conscious choice that a person has to make to allow God to come in and make and take control. It's like, I give you my money to control and manage for me, because I can't manage it myself, because I mess it up when it's in my hand. So I'm going to give you my money to control and manage it and budget it, because you know better how to do it than I do. Okay? All right? It's like that. Okay? But you can't do nothing with my money until I turn it over to you. All right? As long as I'm keeping it to myself, you can't do nothing for me. No, all the advice you could give me, like God, the word does, all the advice you could give me is not going to get my money managed until I see that I can't manage it and turn it over to you.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. All right.
It's like that. Okay. All right. So, I'm going to leave y'all with this scripture from Proverbs. From Proverbs 1, verse 20 all the way to the end. All right. Y'all listen to this. It says, wisdom shouts in the street. She raises her voices in the markets. She calls out to the head of the noisy streets where large crowds gather. At the entrance of the city gates, she speaks her words. 22 says, how long will you naive ones, that's the same thing as ignorant, and ignorant means doing something opposite from what you know. Okay, will you naive ones, you who are easily misled, will you love being simple-minded and undiscerning? How long will you scoffers who ridicule and deride delight in scoffing? How long will you fools who abstinently mock truth? In other words, you see truth, but you say ain't what it really is. You see something, they done cussed you out, but they just in a bad mood. Okay, mock truth and hate knowledge. Okay, if you will turn and pay attention to my rebuke, behold, I wisdom will pour, which is God, will pour out a spirit on you. I will make my words known to you. 24 says, because I called and you refused to answer. All right, you didn't respond. In other words, I stretch out my hand and no one has paid attention to my offer. Okay, then 25 says, and you treated all my counsel as nothing. Somebody done told you, done tried to wake you up. Ain't you seeing how they treat you? If you ain't seen it, have you paid attention to all the stuff that they be doing? And you turn away, you be saying, no, that can't be true. That can't be true. So you treated all my counsel as nothing and would not accept my reprimand. I also will laugh at your disaster. Let's talk about God saying that. I will mock you when your dread and panic comes. When your dread and panic come like a storm and the disaster comes like a whirlwind, and anxiety and distress come upon you as retribution, then they will call up in. Folks be ready to get down on their knees and pray, God, come to my rescue. Lord. I mean, fix this, Jesus. Now you didn't pay attention to nothing. All right. You saw it, but you gonna act like it. And you only can afford a car payment for $150 a month, but you just want that Chrysler 300,
Mm-hmm.
that brand new one, off the showroom floor, that's running almost $400 a month. You done got it, and now you want to go to pray to God because you don't know how you gonna pay for it. Okay, all right, all right, okay, just stuff like that. All right, then they will call upon me, but I will not answer. They will seek eagerly for me. They be showing up praying. So will be praying. Because they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord, that is, obeying him with reverence and all field respect. There's the respect thing. They would not accept my counsel. Then they spurned all my rebuke. Therefore they shall eat of the fruit of their own wicked way, things that they chose themselves, and be satisfied with the penalty of their own devices. For the turning away of the naive will kill ignorant, will kill them, and the careless ease of self-righteous fools will destroy them. But whoever listens, all right, calls it what it is, all right, whoever listens to me will live securely and in confident trust, and will be at ease without fear and dread of evil. If you just tell yourself the truth of the stuff you see, your life could be much more peaceful and at ease if you just tell yourself the truth.
Okay, Jack.
You won't be so taken and surprised if you tell yourself the truth. So that's why folks be so surprised, because they don't tell themselves the truth. So,
people, be truthful to thy own self. Be true to you. I mean, the signs are the signs. It is what it is. Just address it and bring peace to your own mind.
Your own mind.
Your own mind.
All right. Well, I'm going to have some peace right now because I'm telling myself the truth. If we're at the end of the show, we got to get out of here. All right.
Bye-bye.
I'm at peace. Bye, y'all.